Alright guys, today's video here is going to be on a new ROM. This is called Foxhound, and it is on my Verizon Galaxy S4. So I'm just going to go through the ROM really quick, and then I'll go through the install, because the install is a little complicated. We're doing this install from a restore, which is just kind of weird instead of a zip. But I will go over that. But first I want to go ahead and show you guys the ROM. You can get this off XDA Developers site, and I'll give you links to all that as well. So you can see this thing actually comes running Nova launcher right there, and has these things for importing your icons off of your home screen and stuff like that. I'm not going to really mess with those right now, just get rid of them. Put my search bar back, there we go. So very cool ROM so far. I like the stuff in it. So let me just go ahead and show it to you. First of all, you can see it does come with a lot of AOSP stuff, so like calculator, there's AOSP, there is the Samsung calculator camera, 2 different cameras, 2 different galleries. You can see that in there. It does come with Flash Player in here, so that's really nice to have that already in there. A little bit of theming on Hangouts is in blue. Nova launcher settings, phone info right there. Super Sue has got root access. YouTube downloader, multi-window manager application right there. And you have the Foxhound Facebook page. Sorry, the reason that crashed right there is because there's no internet browser installed, and I'll go over that. So Foxhound Facebook's page, their website, and then their settings, which we'll get into in a little bit here. One thing I want to point out, which I just think is really weird for a custom ROM, is to not have an internet browser built into the ROM. Little weird. Not really a big deal. You can go to the Play Store under this icon right here and go ahead and download Chrome or whatever you want to use. But just funny that it's not in here automatically. So you can see, very nice. If you guys have ever used Nova, it does have all the cool transitions and stuff you guys can change in it. So pretty slick. Let's go ahead and check out our toggles. So you can see them right here. It does say I have no SIM because I don't have a SIM card in it right now, but there's your toggles. You can look at all of them. So a nice little themed blue toggles, which are nice, pretty cool. I do like that you have a settings button right here to get right into your system settings, and even this you can see is themed very much AOSP looking device here. So you can kind of go through them, and there you go. There's that Foxhound extras again, and everything else on here. So let's go into these Foxhound extras. You can get into them 2 ways. One right here in settings, or you can go back to home, and in your app drawer it's called FH settings, and it is the same interface. Let me just kind of go through these really quick. You have some UI stuff, some little things. You have icon changer, which is really nice if you like to do themes and stuff. That's cool. It's built in. Custom fonts right there. Pi controls, flash blink controls for notifications. This is your clock weather application, which is really nice, and actually I'll show it to you really quick right here. It's this right here. You can click on it and you can get right into your clock, or you can click on it and get right in here to a 5-day forecast for weather, which I like this a lot. And this is all customizable through those settings right there. So we'll get into it this way this time. Foxhound, and right here you can go ahead and customize everything that shows on that widget. Chronos widget is what it's called. So very cool. App mods, different things you guys can put in there if you want. System, you got some kernel controls and different things, init enabler, performance settings, a lot of different stuff you can look at. CPU information. You can see installed applications. You can run some scripts if you guys know how to write them or put them in there. You can download them too, I think, from here somewhere. System performance, oh, you saw that one already. Go back to scripts right here. You can install scripts. That's where you get those scripts from. Yeah, where's this at? Oh, advanced, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. So most of the stuff in here in this Foxhound Extras is done with right here, this framework installer. So if you want any of these, a lot of these features will not function until you install framework. So you just got to come in here, hit this, say install and update, and give it super user permission. Okay. It won't become active until you reboot. So then you want to come in here and get some modules. and you want to like activate your theme engine one, this one, API stuff. And again, these won't become active until you reboot. Then you can even download more if you guys want to read through these and install a lot more modules and do all kinds of fun customization with it. Theme engines for CM10 themes you can apply to it and all those goodies. The rest of this is pretty basic. This is a reboot button down here if you want to reboot to get all these settings to take hold, like the framework, exposed framework installer and all that kind of stuff. Any modules you activate will not work until you reboot the device. So that's pretty much it. Really what this looks like to me more than anything is just an AOSP style ROM with some cool tweaks in it. You can see it's got like an AOSP dialer. Pretty basic stuff. So if you guys like the look of AOSP, pretty much like stock Android plus some tweaks and mods, this is it right here. It does have the new camera, which is cool. So you can use this kind of camera instead of, you know, the basic Samsung camera and all its features. So very nice, very smooth ROM. Wish it had an internet browser in it built in. Not really a huge issue. You can see you got multi-window on the side here and all that goodies. Oh yeah, last thing, let's go ahead and just check, show you what system version we are on, what this is based on. So right here you can see it's the model of the Verizon S4. This is Android 4.3 and baseband is MK2, that's what I'm on. And then this actually says build number is MK8, which is not even a build number that the Verizon devices has right now, but that's what they did. This is actually a port from other S4 devices and ported over to ours. That's why some of those numbers might look a little different. So there you go. That's going to be my full kind of overview of the ROM. Let's go ahead and go to an install on this thing. Alright, so here we are. We're on our stock system. Let me kind of go over some prerequisites with this thing. First of all, you guys are going to have root access, obviously, on this device for this to function correctly. So right there you have root with SuperSU. On the S4, and then you're going to have SafeStrap installed. I'm just going to show you what version I have of SafeStrap just so you guys are on the same page. Right there it's 3.71 right there, it's installed, and that's what we got right here for our prerequisites to have to get this Foxhound ROM installed. So then we're going to go into a file browser. So let me actually go to the stock file browser just to show you guys this, and you're going to download a file. So I'm going to go to my device and go to downloads, and where is it at here? Here it is, right here. So this is the file, and you're just going to click on it. Let's see if I can do this. See, it won't let me open this because it's a zip. So we're actually not going to use the stock one then. We're going to go back and we're going to use ES File Browser. So download this app. It's my favorite, absolute favorite file browser. It's a root application. Doesn't have to use it for what we're going to do here, but it is root. So we're going to go to downloads. This is where you're going to download the ROM. This is what it's called right here, ROM slot 2, when it talks about the rest of it, Foxhound, blah blah blah. So we're just going to click on it and go to more and extract to and leave current path. You can see right there it's called Foxhound, and it's going to go ahead and extract the file. This is about a 1.6 gigabyte file, so just let this extraction run, and as soon as it runs I'll finish showing you. Okay, so there we go. Extraction is finished. Your file is right here, so we're just going to hold down the file. Actually, before we do that, let me just explain something to you guys. So normally when you install a ROM, you have a zip file like we just had, and you don't extract it, you just flash the zip file. Well, this is done through a restore. So you're actually using somebody else's ROM, basically they had on their phone, and they made a backup of it, an Android backup, and then they just put the Android backup on XDA. So now you got to put this in the right place so that you can just restore the backup and get the ROM. So it's a little bit funky, so that's why I'm kind of going over this. So you extracted it, here's the file, so we're going to hold down, and actually we're not going to hold that, we're going to show it to you. So if you go into this file, it looks like this. These are your backup partitions basically on the file. Okay, so we actually want to go in here and actually copy this one. So we're going to say copy, and then we're going to back out and back out. And if you guys normally make your backups in SafeStrap here, you should have something called twerp in your SD card, but I don't have one here because I always do mine to my external, so I need to go back and go to storages and external card, and here you can see I have twerp, and then go into backups and into there, and actually you can see I've already copied it there, so I would just, normally what I would do here is I would just slide this over and hit paste, and it would apply right there. Okay, and then if you open it up, it should look like this. So you have to have that kind of a structure, or else you're not going to be able to restore it to your device to basically install it, which is kind of funky. So you've put the restore in the right file system in your device. So we can back out of this, and we can go ahead and go into SafeStrap, reboot to recovery. Just the easiest way to get into recovery, because I don't have to hit any buttons on the restart. It just goes ahead and powers right into twerp recovery, SafeStrap recovery technically. So let's let this thing boot into SafeStrap. I'll show you the restore really quick and we'll wrap this up. Alright, so here we go, we're in recovery. So what you got to do, if you have a ROM slot created already or not, basically go into your ROM slots. Normally you're probably going to have this activated, so you'll look like this. So you're going to come in here, pick one, activate it, create all the partition sizes and stuff if you don't already. If you're just replacing over the top of another ROM, that works fine. I normally come in here and reset the nickname, because it's not Echo, it's Fox. I'm just going to call this Fox, just so you guys keep it straight. And go back, and you can see it's now called Fox. So from here, this one's activated, so everything's in green. It says ROM slot 1, and you want to restore, basically install Foxhound, but you're restoring is what you're doing. So what I do is I come in here and do a wipe, because you're wiping ROM slot 1. Get you a clean slate, just like you would do when you're installing something. Then go to restores. Right here it says ROM slot 2 goodies or googlies Foxhound blank blank blank. So you're going to select that restore file. It says data and system, and you're going to go ahead and slide across to restore. So it's funky. It's like doing an Android backup restore, but you're restoring a custom ROM. A little weird. I wish you had a zip to do this, and it would be, you know, straightforward, just like any other ROM install. But this is how you do it. It's pretty simple. Really not too terribly hard. So we're gonna let this thing run. We'll do a reboot and show you guys around. Okay, there you go, guys. It's done. Restore is done. You can go ahead and just hit reboot system right now, and this should boot up Foxhound ROM. So while this is booting, we're gonna wait and see this boot animation as always. But just want to give a huge thanks to the guy who ported this over, Foxhound, to the S4, for keeping us in some cool ROMs. Even though we're running SafeStrap, we don't have an unlocked bootloader, but still giving us some options. So big props for him. I really appreciate that. Also want to mention the modules for MK2, in case you're having signal issues and not getting 3G or whatever like that, 4G. It's not working right. You're going to want to flash those SafeStrap modules for MK2 or whatever build your stock system is on. So we'll just throw that out there as well. There you go. You can see it booted up quite quickly actually, and you can go through the initial setup, and you'll be running the Foxhound ROM. So that's it. Big thanks to Hashcode also for SafeStrap, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Root Junkie out.